We say many things about the changing aspects of our lives. Since change is inevitable, we should direct the change instead of simply go through the change. At Bellegarde, we mill a percentage of the flour that goes into every single loaf of bread that we bake, and we're only working with organic grain that's what's called identity preserved. So we don't do any sort of extraction here at the bakery. The flour is milled in between the two stones. It's shot out through this downspout, and it comes into a waiting bin, and we'll use that flour within 4, 5, 6 days, depending on how busy we are and how much volume we're going through when it comes to flour.
I think Graison is one of very few in the South that are doing it at a level where we could actually begin to supply our restaurants with it on a regular basis. So this is a 100% rye flour that Graison just milled, and it's still warm from the mill, which is really awesome to see. And it has so much aroma, and I can feel like the oils in it, and I can feel the moisture content in it.
It's an introductory threshold to a bigger and better world when it comes to flavor and when it comes particularly to bread and to pasta, is this fresh, organic, stone-milled flour.
The great thing about Graison's bread is that, you know, when he bakes it, it has this beautiful crust. And it's one of those things that when you break into it, you can actually hear it crunch, and inside is so warm and so moist, which a lot of people don't execute very well. And he does it consistently and all the time, and that's, I think, one of the best features, is having that nice crusty bread with that spongy inside that has this wheaty smell, that it's almost nice and chewy.
This is our flour mill. It's a 40-inch stone mill, and it was built in Vermont by my friend Andrew at Elmore Mountain Bread. The whole unit weighs about 2,500 pounds, and each stone is 40 inches in diameter and about 6.5 inches thick. Terroir is the reality and also the conception that the nature of how something is grown is going to dictate how it tastes or how it is raised if it's a child. So when it comes to food and when it comes to ingredients, the context of that soil, the context of the farm that crop was grown on are all going to affect and dictate the quality or lack of quality of that product. So we're working really closely with growers to talk about the types of flavors that we want, the types of grain that we want, the type of strength and moisture and protein content. In our own little corner of the world, we're trying to reestablish that conversation with people and not hit them over the head with it, but at least introduce the fact to them that in the same way that they would approach an oyster, in the same way that they would approach a great bottle of wine, and in the same way that they would approach a glass of beer that's made by somebody who wants to be making that product, it's the same way that we want you to approach a loaf of bread that we make.
I see the evolution of food sourcing really heading back to levels of purity, really kind of going back to what is the story behind this ingredient and how can I bring out the best of this ingredient by doing less with it.
You're tasting that rain-irrigated organic wheat from the plains of Oklahoma. You're tasting that really moist, heirloom, soft, supple, creamy wheat from Wisconsin. You're tasting that pure rock salt from Avery Island, Louisiana. And my argument as a baker and as a miller and as a friend to chefs is to say the ingredient's only going to be dictated by the quality of the soil in which it was grown, and also it's only going to be dictated on the quality of the process in which it was made.
It's refreshing to see somebody that cares so much about, from the beginning to the end, sourcing the grains to the final product and making sure it's consistent.
they got it. They heard us without words, but with flavor. They heard what it is that we're trying to say with our bread.